Hi guys! Okay, so I'm just gonna go through my trip to the Dominican Republic. It was absolutely amazing. So I got back last week on Monday around like 2 in the morning. So ever since I got back, I feel like I'm slouching. Ever since I got back, it's just been like go, go, go. Literally the next day it was clients, appointments, picking up my dogs from their sitters, picking up my daughter, running to get my nails done. It was all the way until like 8 p.m. And me and my boyfriend Ben were just like, we couldn't help but to just instantly miss the Dominican Republic. Like, it was so beyond beautiful and lush and green and full of nature, like just little animals and everything. It was absolutely amazing. So when we came home and just to get quickly back into our routine, it was like, it was a struggle for sure. Like, it was a little depressing, as well as like I was operating at like a good 30%. Like, I don't know what it is after I'm, fly like that. I just feel like, I don't know if it's the elevation, but just my brain, I just feel totally airheaded. Like, things just aren't aligning and things are not making sense, and I'm just out of my routine. So that was kind of a struggle, honestly. Like, doing eyelashes that day, it was a struggle. It was weird. I can't take that much time off work. It's like, yeah, you lose it. So okay, so the whole reason that we went to the Dominican Republic was because, was it a year ago or 2 years ago? Ben and I went on a cruise, and on the cruise, our favorite stop was the DR. The stop that they took us on our cruise was nowhere near where we decided to go on this trip. It was called Amber Cove was the stop. If you guys go on a cruise, seriously, there was this Amber Cove, what is it called? Excursion that Ben, my boyfriend, booked before we went there. And he booked through somebody outside of the actual like excursion crew that is attached to the cruise, right? The ship itself. So I think it was called Amber Cove Adventures. So just so you guys know, that is the best excursion I've ever done. It was so fascinating. It was just like, you went on a hike through a jungle, everything was nice and moist and just beautiful, perfect temperature, very kind people. And they take you on this hike, and then you go down natural water slides and dive into like, I don't know, maybe 12 to 16 foot. They were all different. There was a couple potholes of water. So it was so much fun. So like, to this day, that tops any excursion I've ever done. So if you go on a cruise, that cruise, it was Amber Cove, which is the DR. And we also went to Puerto Rico, St. Thomas, and Turks and Caicos. That was what that cruise was. So if you do that cruise, totally do the Amber Cove Adventure. Sign up for that before your cruise. You won't regret it. It was so absolutely amazing. So I was hoping this direct flight, whatever, would have something like that, but we were on the opposite side of the island and we weren't able to find anything like that. We also couldn't really find anything with monkeys. It was difficult though, because once you get there, I mean, we don't speak the language. We did have a friend with us who did, but there was some difficulty finding certain things that we needed to find. We got lost a lot. So yeah. So if you're up for an adventure, go direct, but you're gonna get lost a little bit, so be prepared for that. And I'm going to tell you some of the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm gonna tell you everything about the trip. So it was absolutely amazing. Usually I don't want to be on vacation for a whole week or more. Like, I get anxiety. I just want to come home. I want to work. I want to get back in my routine. Like, me sitting on a beach is just not me. Like, I just get bored out of my mind doing that for a week straight. It's like, okay, I've been drunk for a week on the beach. Great. Like, boring. So, I mean, I don't even know if that's what it is. I like to move. I like to go. Yeah, I don't want to like exercise. So it's just like this weird, I don't know, it's my own problem. But on this trip, I have to say, like, we didn't run into that at all. And it was because we got such a contrast in our environment and, you know, scenery. So our first stop was, so we flew straight into Punta Cana, and then our first stop was called Las Terrenas. That was a few hours from the airport. Anything that your GPS says, I would probably double that time. The traffic is worse than you think, and there are a lot of tolls. So it was interesting to run into that. It was probably, throughout the whole week trip, we ran into about $200 worth of tolls. You know, the toll booths on the highway or whatever. Las Terrenas ended up being our very favorite stop, actually. It was gorgeous. It was just like, we were like, you're in kind of the slummy area, and then you go in between these two shacks, a tiny road that you would totally miss. So we had to have like somebody who assisted with the Airbnb lead us to the home. And we went in between the two shacks. We went up this really narrow road, and it was going like straight up, straight down. Like, it was crazy going up this mountain. And it was so vertical, some of these streets, that like you felt like your car was gonna high center. And we had like a big SUV because there were 6 of us. So by the time we finally got there, it was gorgeous. It was this, I should have taken more video. I didn't, so I'll post what I did take. The first one was kind of a, I don't know what to call that type of a home. I can't think of the word. Anyways, it had like a straw roof or whatever, and when you walk in the front door, you are still outside. And you get a beautiful view of down below the jungle. You can't see any neighbors, and you have an infinity pool running over the edge into the jungle. It was so gorgeous. And then when you first walked in the center, like, you're outside still, and when you go to the right or the left, then there's 2 portions of the home that sit, and that's where the bedrooms are and the kitchen and things like that. The bedrooms had French doors that opened straight out into just the jungle again. Like, you wake up and you open those, and it's just like, oh, it's just so amazing. And so then from Las Terrenas, we stayed there, I think, 2 nights. And like I said, that was our all-time favorite. Honestly, I'd like to go back and stay there for a full week. And get to go and explore the little town down below a little bit better. You have to be kind of careful, though. There are certain areas that it can be dangerous, and I don't feel like people in the DR are like, I don't think their intention is to kill anyone. I think a lot of people mistake that they do want to, you know, kill you. The thing is that they're very, very poor. The average Dominican Republic local makes $250 US a month. So off of that income, I don't even think they're able to shop at the local grocery store. I think they're out climbing trees and going out and searching for their own food every single day, which it's plentiful. There's a lot of fruit and everything growing everywhere, that was really, really cool to see. And the fruit is huge out there, like, and even their avocados, like, I got an avocado and it was no joke, like, I passed it over and over. I'm like, where are the avocados? It was because it was literally 3 times the size of a normal avocado. So yeah, so like I said, I don't think their intention is to ever kill or anything, because the whole time my dad was warning me, like, be careful out there, be careful, there's a couple who disappeared. I think that they are desperate, and more so they would probably rob you. So if during a certain time, I'd probably not be out on the streets really, and if you were, I wouldn't carry a lot with you. I've heard of them like stopping your car in bad areas and pulling everybody out, and they have like rifles, and then they rob you and then they leave you alone. So again, I think there's a huge difference between murder and robbing. So yeah, so you just have to be just cautious of that. And I think going with a bigger group is a great idea. So anyways, yes, I'd love to go back to Las Terrenas and stay there for a full week or more, because there was a lot to do there, and I don't feel like we got the most out of that stop. Although our Airbnb, just that alone was so much fun to sit at and be in the pool and just have that view. Very peaceful. So, okay, so then the second place that we went is called Boca Chica. I think that was 1.5 to 2 hours away from Las Terrenas. So initially we flew into Punta Cana, drove pretty far to go to Las Terrenas, and then now we're gonna make our way back to the airport slowly, basically over the week. So the next one was Boca Chica. That one was more so a like a high rise or whatever. Like it was got like the penthouse suite. We got the very top corner floor, as well as you actually get like 3 floors total, but ultimately you can go up these stairs in each floor and end up on the rooftop where there was like a hot tub, and then you get a perfect view of the ocean. This looked more so like an all-inclusive, which to me, that is exactly what I am telling you, that would be totally boring and I'd be ready to go home quick. So 2 days there was fine, you know, but a full week would drive me crazy. So, because that one was a lot more commercialized. And I mean, I go on vacation to get away from that. Like I said, like anxiety, I just struggle with that. And so for some reason, just being in the jungle or within nature, I just feel so good mentally. So this one was cool. It was beautiful. It was furnished very nice and very comfortable. And then you go down and you're right there on the beach. So it's so simple to get to the beach. We went snorkeling. That was very cool snorkeling, but you have to have an eye for it. Like, it depends if you like nature and things like that. But I found like a really cool thing. I noticed it was like this plant, like this big, and I noticed it kind of swished, like it wasn't attached to the ground. And I was like, that's weird. Why wouldn't that little bush thing be attached? So of course I picked it up. And we found the cool snorkeling masks, by the way, too, that like don't leak water or anything. They were so cool on Amazon, and it's like a full face. It was really neat. Totally worth it. And so I picked it up, and as I dropped it in the water, it started doing that. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's like a Dominican Republic jellyfish. Like, it was different, you know? And it was kind of brown, that had like bright purple strings hanging off of it. Within a few minutes, I felt my arms just go completely tingly and itchy all the way up to my shoulder. And I looked at my best friend, and I came up out of the water. I was like, dude, like, I can't feel my arms. And she's like, me either. I'm like, what? So yeah, so we had been stung, but she didn't even touch the jellyfish, so it could expel its poison within the water, and it totally got the both of us. So we put it down and kept swimming, and we found like an amazing starfish that like its body was like the size of a nickel, and then it had these, there was a name for it. Somebody on my Facebook was like, I know exactly what that is. Had long skinny legs coming off of it, and the way it crawled and moved, where I've never seen a jellyfish do that. And so it like threw its little legs around, it would go and hide under a rock. It was really shy. So but that was like such a cool thing. It was just pitch black, kind of spiky. It was the coolest starfish I've ever seen. That tingling sensation went away after 20 minutes or less, maybe 10 minutes. So of course we went back and played with it a little bit more. I just thought that was so cool. That weird jellyfish. Like, I have only heard of a clear jellyfish. So every little creature that they had there just had like its own little twist to it that made it different than being in America. So I should say the United States of America. But let's see. Oh, and there's one thing I forgot to mention about the first Airbnb. It had like, that place had plenty of cute little animals and stuff. We saw like a giant bat swish past the pool at nighttime, picking up bugs. It kept coming over and over. And then there was like this bush that had leaves on it that kind of tacoed, like they kind of curled. And in the center of these leaves were lizards sleeping. You'd go out there in the pitch black and you just shine your light on them, and it would kind of stun them so they didn't move. And they were all snuggled between the little curled leaf. Like, so cool, so cool. So I had to take my boyfriend to go see that. He's into that kind of stuff too. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to mention? At the first one, we rode horses and went on a little horse ride up to the waterfalls. That was a little bit sad. The horses don't look totally taken care of. They seemed kind of exhausted, and it wasn't even that intense of a hike. So it's kind of sad to see that, but the animals aren't taken care of the very best because these people have a hard time taking care of themselves or affording it. So So you have to kind of take that into account. And then at Boca Chica, also on those beautiful beaches, you had to be careful how far you went, because as you were in front of other hotels or whatever, there were a lot of people trying to sell you things, and it was overwhelming. Like, they don't leave you alone. They're constantly hassling you to ask to braid your hair. Things out there too were more expensive than you would ever guess, and I don't know if it's that they're taking advantage of Americans or what, but I mean, even just their grocery store was the same exact prices as the United States. And then the girl that wanted to braid my friend's hair, she wanted to do it for $40. Like, it's more than you think. And then I think she paid for a massage for $80. I have heard, for the most part, it's higher priced out there, and that's luxury. And so the locals, of course, don't buy that. Then there might have been different areas that could have been cheaper. I don't know. I have heard that you're supposed to, like, whatever price they give you on braiding your hair or whatever, you're supposed to, like, try to go half, because they're always going to start out high. So, yeah. So then as we strolled throughout the beach and we were in front of other hotels, you got totally hounded. There was like 3 little boys watching us. You could tell it was like they were waiting for us to leave our bags with my boyfriend's mom, who wouldn't be able to chase them down once they snagged the bags, you know? So we started getting in the ocean, and they were just staring and surrounding us and Ben's mom, and it was strange. So we picked all our things up and we went back in front of our own hotel, because it was a little safer over there. Like, they don't allow all these little hooligans trying to hound you. Let's see. I don't think there's a lot to say about that one. That one was really just kind of beach time, and there was a lot of homeless dogs on that beach. That was kind of sad. It'd be really neat if we could somehow start like a dog foundation over there and help them out, or even put some down, because a lot of them were suffering. One of them had this dog tag. Well, I don't even know if I call it a dog tag, just a circle tag that they pierced through its ear like a cow of some sort, and it was as big as the dog's ear, and it was completely pussy, bloody underneath, and just soaked its ear of pus and blood. It was totally irritated. He couldn't stop itching it. That was terrible to see. Like, poor thing. Yeah, so the dogs are plentiful and they are suffering out there. That was terrible to see. Okay, so then the third place, we went back to Punta Cana, which is where we flew into. And so it was fairly close to the airport, which made it nice for our journey back home. And that one was an Airbnb that came with a swimming pool, and it was on a golf course, a very high-end, nice golf course, which was also on the beach. That was nice. They had a restaurant right there on site that was very high-end. The golfing there was like $400 a person. My boyfriend wanted to do that, but that was a little bit much, they felt. So yeah, that one was really nice too, just to hang out at home, go have beach time, go out to eat. We tried to find a cool bar. That didn't work out too well. That seemed to me more of like a higher end, older people type of a place to stay. It was nice, but again, too nice, you know, too commercialized. So the first Airbnb was our favorite. Okay, now if I was to go back there, I would need to figure out the rental car situation and the cell phone service situation. Me and my boyfriend have a local company's service here in Utah, and it really only covers the United States. So we didn't have any service out there. That was difficult. And I heard that there was some type of SD card we could have gotten. We didn't. I don't know. It seemed like a lot. It just seemed like a total hassle. Some of our friends had, I think, Verizon, and so they had service, but they're going to be charged out the butt to use the service per text and all that. But I believe they could have gone to their provider, talked to them, told them that they were leaving town, and paid like a solid, I don't know, $25 fee or something like that before they went, to make that a little easier. But they didn't. So they didn't want to use their phones at all, which made it very hard for GPS, getting a hold of each other, and so on. Now, the rental car situation, when we initially got there, we had already paid $800 online for our rental car for the week. When we got there, one of the guys at the airport was telling us that we owed $1,000 non-refundable insurance. I've never heard of that in my life. He was a Hertz rental guy, and he was the only one behind the desk, and that was really, really strange. We kind of argued it for a while. Our friend who speaks Spanish spoke with him, and he was not letting up on it. We definitely felt like we got taken advantage of. But we needed a rental car, so what do? You know? Yeah, so we just decided that we would talk to American Express and talk to Hertz and try to figure that out. But I need to figure that out before I go back, because that was like a terrible surprise to find that out. And it just felt totally wrong, because they couldn't even like find or dig up our reservation for a car that we booked. So they didn't even try, really. It was just really strange. So yeah, so just be aware that there are people out there that are going to, I mean, they're desperate. They're going to try to rip you off. Let's see, another thing is that being there with this big of a group, it was safe for sure, but everybody has their little quirks. And so you're on a trip and you're kind of close in a home and in a car with all these people, and it can be kind of a struggle or irritating at times, because everybody has their quirks, right? Like if somebody leaves the fridge open, I'm over there closing it real quick if they're just gonna let it hang open, or if the water's running, I'm gonna shut it off, whatever. So everybody has their freaking quirks. So that was kind of difficult. Like when you're finished with a trip like that, you love all your friends, but it's like, that was great. I think we're done here for 6 months or more. So anyways, be aware of that. I want to go again with just Ben, but yeah, it's a little bit risky, I think, with just 2 people. You know, I think there's a difference when, you know, maybe you go out to like a restaurant or a bar at night or something and there's just 2 people versus 6, right? Hopefully 6 seems harder to take advantage of. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything else I didn't cover. I don't know. Today's Monday. Today's my day off. I freaking love my Mondays. I mean, sometimes it's full of errands, but today, yeah, I have some errands, but it's peace and quiet, and I'm at home by myself, and I love it. I don't get to be alone a lot, so it's nice. I can post a YouTube video, write in my journal, do some errands and phone calls that I need to do, and I appreciate my alone time, so it's really cool. Before I went on the trip, I went to this jewelry expo because I have been planning on making jewelry. I'm kind of starting to get into that, just with my free time, any free time that I have. And while I was there, I found this really cool lamp, this handmade lamp from Turkey. And it literally makes me so happy. So I'm going to show you that. Here it is. I mean, look how cool that is. It makes me so happy. I literally couldn't leave it. It's so weird. It doesn't match my decor in my home at all. But I freaking love it. It makes my day for some reason. Anyways, sorry about that. I don't know what just happened. My camera kind of shut off for some reason. I might have pushed something on accident. Anyways, so I think that's all. I definitely recommend going and seeing the DR. I can't wait to go back. And then other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the minimal videos that I did get. And the video and pictures seriously don't do its justice. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. Bye. Hello, we are in the Dominican Republic. It's beautiful.